Hi everyone, this is Samantha Nissen doing my final presentation for writing Citizenship. I just want to thank everyone for the feedback provided along throughout the process of getting to this point with this project. It's been really interesting and I've truly enjoyed looking at everyone else's projects. So yeah, basically what I learned when I conducted my user test was that one area didn't really make sense where I had it, and that is for those who aren't super familiar with my project, I'll kind of back up a little bit. So writing citizenship it's basically the website portion kind of contains two different areas, and that first one is kind of just a general pamphlet site where young people can find out more information about the project. And then the second is kind of a secured course portal where people will be able to actually engage in the online classes and workshops that they're applying to be in on that pamphlet site. So going back to my user test, what I learned and now refined is just because of this project, we're working with people in various countries in Northern Africa and the Middle East, and some are not well connected to the internet. And there are a lot of NGOs and nonprofits that want to share information about this, so it's really important that I have an area for nonprofit managers, teachers, whoever, to come and like easily download materials to provide to students. Easily disperse the information, because sometimes you can't just send a link out. You need to actually like pass out flyers and things like that. So initially, if you can see this login area right here, to the right of that, along all the pages, I had something that said like 4 organizations. And to me, that kind of meant, I'm trying, the rest of the website's kind of written to young people. That's the target audience. So I thought, the voice wouldn't really match well for the older group I was trying to engage with, the 4 organizations tab. But through my user test, I kind of found it seemed, since it's next to login, that it was another part of like a secured website where you would need a code or you're already engaged. So it wasn't incredibly welcoming, which is the opposite of what I want. So going forward, I have sorry if you couldn't see my mouse. This is where the login I was talking about was. But going forward, I'm putting that information in the About page. So it'll all be written in a voice that is welcoming to teens, and then there'll kind of be like another module. Well, I'll have everything as downloadable PDFs for that. So that's kind of the biggest thing I learned. So I'll take you through my wireframes, and these are the finalized version. So I guess I'll start the same way I did my user test, which actually first so if you're coming and you want to give information to your students because you think they would be interested in this, as I mentioned, it is now on the About page. So my idea is like, has some kind of welcome video that's kind of interesting, and then all the language, and at the bottom of the language there'll be PDFs for people to download. So that's kind of the area that saw the biggest improvement, and I think it does make more sense to have it in About. I mean, you want to share information about the project. It makes sense. So the next thing is how to apply. And kind of, if you've been following along with my project, a lot of the students will have already been through programming hosted through the International Writing Program. So most people are going to get an email about this and be directed to our homepage. They already know they want to apply. So they click how to apply. And again, this is going to be like some welcoming video or picture, getting people interested, maybe a little bit of information, some teaser text. But then it'll be apply now. And because a lot of the people participating will be using English as a second or even third language, I wanted to create a process that really guided people, throughout, I guess, and I want to make it very easy and not overwhelming. So this is why I decided to do like one question per page, and then also have this process bar, just to make it not overwhelming. And it's easy for English speakers, but then if your English maybe isn't totally up to par, you still understand what's happening. And then something else, like we're an incredibly small staff. We cannot handle all these inquiries of like, oh, I'll be 19, but my birthday is 5 days later. So I just want to make it really clear of, if you hit, no, I will not be that age. Sorry. Then you'll come to this page where it says you're not eligible to apply. You answered X. So it'll pull in the reason of why they're not eligible, so that they're not just we still might get emails, but I feel like that'll kind of cut out a good chunk of emails, because they'll be very clearly told you're not eligible. This is the reason. You answered this. So I'm pretty excited about that. So going back to it, let's say like, yes, you answered everything correctly. That means you're eligible to apply. So instead of building my own submission portal, I decided to go with Submittable in the creative writing field. That's kind of what everyone uses to apply to journals, to submit articles, to submit, to apply to residencies. So it's kind of an industry standard, and we already have a subscription to it. So it's a really great tool, and I don't really feel the need to recreate the wheel. For some of our other programs, we have a submission portal or application portal through the University of Iowa, and it's constantly breaking and it's hard to get support for. So I really just like using Submittable. So if you're a student, then then you're taken to that site, which we wouldn't promote just the Submittable site. You'd have to go through this process to get there. So yeah, you would then kind of go off to Submittable and do your thing, which is nice. The other good thing about Submittable, if you're ever looking for a submission software, is you can assign people to be readers, but they don't have access to everything. So it's a really nice like project management thing. It's really helpful. So going back to the home page, and as you can see, there's a blog. So in my mind, we would tag a few of the students who might be mentors in the courses that everyone's applying to kind of update, what's it like to be a female writer in Pakistan, I think that'll keep everyone engaged throughout the application process and keep people excited. So going back to the homepage, the idea is now, if you get an email, you're not accepted, journey might be done. You could maybe stay up to date with the blog. We might find other ways to engage with these people. But otherwise, if you are accepted, you'll get an email and it will tell you, go to the home page. You've been accepted to the fiction class that you applied for. Go to the home page of this website, and then you will log in. And as you can see here, there's register for a new account, which in my head, this would all be detailed in the email, so it's not a surprise to anyone. And as you can see, I have a space for a course code, which would be included in that email. This to me is something where I don't know if it would actually look like this or how it would actually act, but in my mind, we don't want people to try to create an account. I mean, if it's people who don't speak English as a first language, there's room for confusion, and we don't want all these accounts that won't be associated with a course in the end. Maybe they think, oh, I was able to make an account, so that means I was accepted. So this course code is kind of a verification. If you don't have a correct one, you won't be able to create an account. So you're able to answer everything. You have the course code because you're accepted. So you register your account. So I think when you very first enter this area of like message boards, contact videos, I think all of this would be disabled. It wouldn't show up. You would kind of be forcefully guided through these welcome, training, rules of conduct, and syllabi modules, um, just so you can, you're kind of forced through it. And again, when you're working with people of varying English levels, I think it's a really great idea to kind of have a streamlined process like that, especially when you're dealing with people. I mean, 20 to 25, that's college students, so they should be able to, you know, not be forcefully like, don't bully people. But with this age group, we still want to force them to actually read the rules of conduct and to watch the video modules. And a module would be like getting to know your instructors and things like that. So once you've actually viewed each of these modules, then these items on the left would open up, and then you would actually understand what message boards are. Maybe it would make more sense to break it out into, I think message boards works, but in my mind, I mean, it's kind of like Blackboard in a way, right? Where there's going to be new, what would you call it? Kind of, yeah, we have threads. So in my head, it's kind of like each week there's a workshop you submit to, but there's maybe also like a general questions thread or a getting to know you thread. So this is kind of where I envision that all to be. Right now, for some reason, because we don't work with students who are enrolled at the University of Iowa, it's very like outreach driven. They're not getting degrees through us. We don't use Blackboard, and we don't use what Iowa students use, which is called Icon, I believe. So right now we're weirdly using Squarespace, and through that we have everyone email their pieces to us each week, and then we have an intern like format and upload. So that's totally not a good use of time. So my ideal world is you want to submit your poetry for workshop. So you click on it, then you create a new thread. So it'd be like how our class works with Blackboard, where we are actually able to type and format. So especially with something like poetry, where the person's like, well, I actually wanted it indented there and, broken there. That's on them to do. It's not on us to kind of decipher what they mean. Something that I envision that would be quite different is it wouldn't just automatically go live. There would be a review process. So an administrator or moderator would need to approve to publish it. Everything goes live Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. One, so that we can keep on schedule, but two, when you're kind of trying to do building between cultures, you just want to make sure that they're following the rules of conduct, that if it is very sensitive, maybe you can talk with the student and verify that they're okay to share with that. Maybe, because we do work with high schoolers a lot, so maybe, when you're over 18, it's all on you, there's less hand-holding, but I think we still want that kind of level of security just because we're working with we need to be very culturally sensitive and not just let it be like the Wild West of the internet. So yeah, there'd be kind of an approval process there. Yeah, and then I kind of have a contact page so that you can meet your teaching team, your fellow students, and also website help, which I guess would be me, so the administrators. That's the last tab, so we're kind of the last people that they contact, hopefully. And then again with the students, to me, when you're signing up, maybe there would be a part where you say, I only want my first name shown. I do not want my last name, because if you want to write something that's critiquing your government, for instance, I think he's from Pakistan, the Pakistani poet in Saudi Arabia who is just sentenced to be executed because of his writings. I mean, that's a real fear. So I'm thinking maybe when they apply, I only show their first name or something like that. So it wouldn't just yeah, the student's contact page, maybe it doesn't have their email. So there's kind of needs to be some thought there about how we do security. But I like having like the pictures and everything because when it's an online course, you want to actually get to know each other. And then something else is videos. There would be like one weekly video class, which we do use Blackboard Collaborate. So for upcoming video classes, maybe I would have the date and a link and some nice accompanying pictures. And because people, you could miss, there could be cultural holidays not accounted for, I don't know, something. So all of the videos would then be accessible, archived, maybe even just want to review. So yeah, there'd be 2 different sections there. Yeah, so it's definitely a mixture of, using the website as a central hub, but then maybe also using Submittable and Blackboard Collaborate to integrate into this main website. So yeah, thank you so much. Definitely thinking through the process has made me get outside my own head and see how other people would navigate this site, especially people of varying language skills and geographical areas. So I'm pretty excited about where this landed out. Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and thank you again, everyone, for your amazing feedback. It's been a great semester.